Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Four Persons, a blessed Easter 2025. And right out of the gate, let me repeat that a blessed Easter. Although for some of you, I know it's going to be difficult for it to be a happy Easter. And I get that. Um, we have friends, quite a few, as a matter of fact, have been through some pretty awful stuff. We get it. We're right there with you. That doesn't make this day less important for you. It makes it more important for you. And I know this is going to be difficult to hear, but what I'm about to tell you is the truth. In a way, you have received a special blessing by the trials that you're facing, by the trials that you're going through. Because you've realized, been given the realization that the true happiness, the true fulfillment that you're looking for can't be found here. And when I say here, I mean in this world. But it can be found here. The empty tomb. Because the entire purpose of your existence, the entire purpose of your life, the entire reason why you're here is because of this. Because you're not here for this world. This world is a trial. You're here for the next world. And the things that you're facing, including many who we know who have lost loved ones under tragic circumstances, this is the hope that you have. Because your loved one can't be brought back here. And no matter how many times you hope for that and pray for that, it's not going to happen. Yeah, God raised people from the dead in the Bible times, but that was only as a sign to show the way to his church. And if you made the journey from here to there, why in the world would you ever want to come back? So when we want our loved ones to come back, is it for their benefit or is it for ours? Well, if they're in heaven, it's certainly for our benefit. Because no one would want to leave heaven to come to earth. And the power of this day and the power of this apostolate is rooted in that message. That we do have to suffer for a time here. We do have to go through trials for a time here. But the person who loves God with his whole heart, his whole mind, his whole soul, and his whole strength is storing up treasure in heaven. And your entire life becomes one of expectation. Your entire life becomes one of mission and one of looking forward to something greater than today, rather than someone looking back at past glory and faded memories of glory days of the past, wanting to relive what they can't relive, wanting to recapture what they can't capture. And on that Easter morning in 33 AD, all our hopes, all our dreams, everything that we live for, even if we don't realize it, is wrapped up in what happened that Easter morning, April 5th, 33 AD, when Jesus conquered death and rose from the dead, so that he can raise us from the dead. The current trials, the current sorrows that you're going through, as hard as they may be, and trust me, I know for some of you they're very hard. I understand that. I'm not trying to soft shoe that. I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm not trying to tell you that your grief is not real. I'm not trying to tell you that your grief is not justified. But what I can tell you for sure is that your grief will come to an end. One day, your grief will come to an end. It will come to an end either by God removing that particular trial from your life, which you are perfectly welcome to pray for and hope for, or it will come to an end by you leaving this life. And if you leaving this life makes you go to heaven, in the first second of heaven, you will forget all the pain of this place. And those who have lost loved ones should make that as their driving force in life. Make that as your driving mission. Make that as your motivation to first get them to heaven, if maybe perhaps they are in purgatory. And second, to get yourself there to be with them. That is what Easter is all about. That is what our life is all about. And that is why Jesus says in Mark chapter 12, verse 30, that the greatest commandment is to love God with your whole heart, your whole mind, your whole soul, and your whole strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Not to love God with half your heart or with your whole heart, but only half of your strength. Now, you got to be all in. The biggest mistake that I made in my life was when I tried to make God the biggest part of my life. God can't be the biggest part of your life. He must be your whole life. When you go to work for God. When you deal with disagreeable people, you deal with disagreeable people for God. When you suffer trials for God and for the people you love. And that's the beauty of this, is because sometimes the people we love are the ones who hurt us the most. But we can take the very pain that they cause us and offer it back to God for their salvation, for their sanctification. O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting? Easter is about conquering. It's about Jesus conquering death, and it's about us conquering ourselves to be united with him. It's such a meaningful and profound day. And I went to the Easter Vigil last night, and there was a huge uptick in the number of Catholics converting to this faith, people converting to the Catholic faith. And that is a phenomenon that is being multiplied around the country and around the world. Record numbers of people converting to the Catholic faith in countries like France, England, and in the United States, dioceses across the United States. It's not in our imagination. It's a fact. It's happening. I'll leave it to others to decide what the eschatological implications of that are. But there is no question that the Holy Catholic and Apostolic faith is making a comeback. And it's making a comeback because people have come to finally understand in this information age that Protestantism and secularism leave you empty. They don't offer you anything. The Protestant faith doesn't offer you anything. I believe in Jesus. The Bible says even the demons believe. An intellectual and verbal assent to faith means nothing unless it is proven. Jesus said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you could cause a mountain to be thrown into the sea. Show me, Protestants, show me your great faith that you're always telling me that you have, that you're always attesting to, this great faith that you have. I want to see you move mountains. Notice Jesus said, if you have great faith, he didn't say he would move the mountain. He said, you will say to the mountain. And that is not to say that we replace God. Far be it from me to suggest such a thing. But what it is to say is that for a person of faith, salvation is not something that God does to you. It is something that God does through you, through your cooperation. As St. Augustine put it, without God, I can't. Without me, he won't. We are tied together with him. This is not semi-Pelagianism, which says that it's partly God's work and partly my work. That's what we're always accused of, adding our work onto God's. No, it's all God's work. But it's God's work that becomes my work by my cooperation with it. And if I'm able to sin, if my free will allows me to sin, which is to defy God's work, it only makes sense that my free will would allow me not to sin, which is to do God's work. All that I lack is the ability to do it. Well, Jesus solved that riddle. In Ephesians 2, it says, for by grace you have been saved through faith. It is not of works, lest any man should boast, for we are God's handiwork, prepared to do the works that he has prepared for us. What is that saying? Is salvation a free gift? No. Grace is a free gift. Read the sentence. Read it 1,000 times until you get it right. Grace is the it. That is the free gift of God by which we are saved. How do we receive grace? By faith. But what is faith? Intellectual assent? No. Faith is to step out. Faith is to step out. Faith is demonstrated by Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane when he says, Father, if it be possible, take this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. How many of us say that? How many of us say, Lord, I hate this cup, but if it be your will that I drink it, then may it be so. Give me the strength to drink it. That's faith. That's faith. Protestant faith suggests that Jesus drinks the cup for us because we can't drink it. Because the same Jesus that can do for you what you cannot do can also enable you to do what you cannot do. The same Jesus can do that. The same God causes Moses to raise his staff and part the Red Sea. The same God causes Noah to save the human race through the building of an ark. The same God causes a normal, ordinary Jewish girl to bear the Messiah. The same God causes Peter and Paul as disciples to raise people from the dead after Jesus had left this earth. And the same God has raised up miracle after miracle after miracle in the Catholic Church. Like the miracle of the sun at Fatima, like the miraculous miracles at Lourdes, like the incorruptibles, like the Eucharistic miracles. The same God is still able to work in the world. The same God is still working in the world through his church that he established when he said to Peter, you are the rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And all of that is possible because of what happened here when the stone was rolled away. I want to thank those who have supported the Four Persons and grown it into the success that it has been. We are over 120,000 hits so far this year. It's only April 20th. It's only April. It's only Easter. April 20th. With the over 100,000 hits that we had last year, 101,000 to be exact, that means that in the last 16 months, now our apostolate has existed for 28 months. In the past 16 months, we've gotten more traffic, more total traffic than my previous apostolate got in 16 years. More traffic in 16 months than my previous apostolate got in 16 years. I'm not going to name who they are. This is not a shot at them. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to bring that up. I'm not getting into that fight. I'm only bringing it out to tell you that this apostolate has caught fire. We have caught a spark. We are growing and growing and growing. And in 7 of the last 8 days, we've had at least 3,000 hits. And we've had at least 1,000 hits now for it's either 25 or 26 consecutive days. I believe it's 25 consecutive days of at least 1,000 hits and 3,000 hits in 7 of the last 8 days. Where we've struck a nerve, folks. And we've struck a nerve because we're giving you good content, because we speak from the heart, because we're sincere and because we truly love and want to serve God and bring you the message of the gospel through God's Holy Catholic Church. So I want to thank you for your support, and we will continue to live up to that. God bless all of you, and have a very blessed Easter. Thank you very much from the Four Persons.